The village was wrapped in a blanket of stillness, the night air calm and cool. Street lamps flickered with soft yellow lights, casting gentle shadows across the cobblestone paths. Most windows were dark, as villagers had long since fallen into a deep sleep, lulled by the soothing sounds of crickets chirping and leaves rustling in the breeze. The moon hung high above, a silver orb illuminating the landscape with its delicate glow. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. In this tranquil setting, where time seemed to stand still, nothing stirred to interrupt the peace, until a peculiar sound broke through the night. A low rumble echoed across the village, sounding almost like thunder far off in the distance. However, there was no storm brewing. Instead, an unusual shadow emerged at the village gate. Nestled between two tall trees that framed the entrance was something extraordinary. A huge elephant slowly making her way toward the village. Her large ears flapped gently against her head as she ambled forward, each step thoughtful and deliberate. The villagers' slumber remained undisturbed at first, but gradually that low thumping sound captured their attention. A few curious souls peeked through their curtains, startled yet intrigued by the sight before them. What could have possibly brought an elephant to their quiet village at such an hour? Many felt a rush of fear at first. Elephants were not common sightings in their peaceful little town. Most people only knew of them from storybooks or distant tales about far-off lands. The small group that gathered near their doorsteps exchanged nervous glances, pointing tentatively towards the silhouette growing larger near the gate. The moonlight illuminated her wrinkled skin, making her look both majestic and mysterious. She stood tall and proud, her trunk swaying slightly, as if sensing the tension around her. Some older villagers stirred from their homes, men and women who had seen enough of life to understand that nature often brought surprises when least expected. They whispered reassurances to those trembling next to them. "It's only a part of what we share with our world," said one elderly man with thinning white hair. "She means us no harm." As curiosity overtook fear for most, they began inching closer to get a better look at this unexpected visitor. The elephant finally stopped just a few feet away from them and raised her trunk to them in what seemed like a greeting. A gentle wave from this mighty creature who had wandered so far from home. Softly beneath her breath, she trumpeted into the night air, causing everyone to pause for a moment in stunned silence. No one knew why she had come or what she needed. They simply stood mesmerized by her graceful presence. Amidst all uncertainty, filled with awe and wonder, shimmered, for this was unlike anything they had ever encountered before. The tension shifted slightly as children crept out from behind their parents' skirts and gasped at the enormous figure bathed in moonlight before them. One young boy mustered his courage enough to step forward just a little bit closer than anyone else dared to go. His wonderment shone brightly as he gazed up into those great brown eyes, which sparkled with warmth rather than danger. Could it be possible? Was this gentle giant seeking help? What could an elephant possibly want from sleepy villagers sitting behind wooden doors at midnight? A hush fell over for just a moment longer while hearts raced. Anticipation hung thick in the air like fog rolling in from the nearby hills. All around them lay familiar scents. The warm aroma of cooking spices lingering from meals finished hours ago, mixed with cooler pinches of grass swaying lazily on nearby fields, acted like Mother Nature's call back home to lean on when unease bubbled underneath it all. As curiosity turned into compassion, one villager took a cautious step forward to show solidarity with their unusual guest, who appeared quite lonely, nestled amidst darkness and uncertainty. Little did they know then that this night would mark a turning point, not just for themselves, but also for this magnificent creature who quietly awaited answers, hiding behind weighted moments brimming with possibility. As the villagers stood, their eyes wide with surprise and a hint of trepidation, the moonlight cast an enchanting glow on the elephant, highlighting her enormous frame. The soft rustle of leaves seemed to hush in reverence as she approached. With every cautious step, her presence felt both calming and daunting, a creature from a storybook materializing in their midst. Some villagers clutched their loved ones tightly, exchanging worried whispers about what could bring such a large animal to their doorstep at midnight. "Is it lost? Is it dangerous?" they murmured, their voices trembling with uncertainty. Children peeked from behind their parents, captivated by the sight, but also feeling the weight of the unknown. The elephant paused just a few feet from the gathering crowd, her dark eyes glimmering with a mix of wisdom and vulnerability. She stood still for a moment, surveying the villagers as though assessing their reactions. Her ears flapped gently, and she let out a soft trumpet that echoed through the night air. It was a sound that seemed to carry both a plea and an invitation, urging them to come closer. One brave young girl broke away from her mother's side, stepping forward with wide eyes filled with awe. The others watched in silence as she took a tentative approach, captivated by the gentle giant before her. "Look, she doesn't want to hurt us," she exclaimed, her voice filled with wonder. Slowly but surely, other villagers began to follow her lead, inching closer to the mysterious visitor. The tension began to lift as curiosity replaced fear. They could see that this magnificent creature was not here to cause trouble, but rather seemed lost or in need of something. As they gathered around her, the villagers marveled at her majestic size and intricate features. The long lashes framing her big brown eyes, the rough texture of her skin, and the gracefulness of her trunk swaying softly at her side. An elder villager stepped forward, his voice steady despite the lingering unease. "We should not be afraid," he said firmly but kindly. "She is part of our world too." His reassurance resonated among the crowd and helped dissolve their fears like morning mist under the sun. The elephant shifted slightly on her feet, her trunk lowering towards the ground as if trying to communicate. The villagers watched intently, each hoping for some understanding of why she had come. An elderly woman in a brightly colored shawl dared to reach out with her hand extended toward the elephant's trunk. The moment their fingers touched, an electric connection sparked between them, an unspoken bond forged under the light of the moon. "Maybe she's trying to tell us something," whispered one young boy, who had ventured closer after watching his neighbors approach cautiously. Others nodded in agreement. Perhaps this encounter held significance beyond mere coincidence. As they surrounded her, the atmosphere shifted from one of fear to one of fascination. The elephant seemed to sense their change in mood and lifted her head proudly as if acknowledging their acceptance. She moved gracefully among them, taking small steps closer while still maintaining a respectful distance. Each villager felt an inexplicable pull toward this gentle giant. In that moment of shared curiosity, fears melted away like ice on a warm day. Laughter erupted quietly among children who dared to mimic the elephant's movements while maintaining an air of reverence around her majesty. But still loomed questions. Why had she come? What did she seek in this little village during such an unusual hour? With every passing heartbeat filled with anticipation and wonderment, they stood together, united in their shared experience as they awaited answers from this exotic visitor who had suddenly become part of their story. As the night carried on and whispers faded into gentle murmurs of excitement and disbelief among neighbors now turned friends by circumstance, Hearts began to race, not just out of fear, but out of hope for what might unfold next. Little did they know that this unexpected encounter would set in motion events that would change everything they knew about their village and themselves as well. As the villagers stood around the elephant, reactions varied widely among them. Some peered out from their homes with wide eyes, fear still clinging to them like a shadow. A man named Thomas, known for his cautious nature, gripped his wife's arm tightly. "We shouldn't get too close," he whispered, his voice quaking slightly. "What if she gets scared and lashes out?" His wife, Maria, sighed softly but shook her head. "Thomas, just look at her. She seems gentle. We can't just turn our backs on her." Maria's heart raced with excitement as she watched the elephant sway gently under the moonlight, her curiosity urging her forward. A group of children peeked from behind their parents, their faces a mixture of wonder and apprehension. They had heard tales about elephants from faraway lands, but never thought one would appear in their own village. Little Sophia, always the adventurous one among them, stepped forward first. "She's beautiful," she gasped, her voice barely above a whisper. The others hesitated, caught between fear and fascination, as they watched their friend take that brave step. Nearby, old Mr. Gonzalez stood with a bemused expression etched on his weathered face. Having experienced many things in his long life, he felt both excitement and nostalgia wash over him. "This reminds me of the stories my grandmother used to tell," he said to no one in particular. "Elephants are wise creatures. Perhaps she has come to share something important." His words sparked a flicker of hope among those listening. While some were enthralled by the sight before them, others remained skeptical. In the back of the crowd stood a woman named Clara, arms crossed tightly over her chest. "What if it's just an illusion?" she questioned skeptically. "There could be something wrong with her, or worse. She could be leading us into danger." Her voice dripped with caution as she cast wary glances at her neighbors who were inching closer. But Clara's negativity did little to deter the growing curiosity around her. A few younger men from the village approached cautiously, while breaking into quiet laughter at how they might mimic the elephant's movements. A playful distraction amidst tension. As one of them stomped playfully with big strides, imitating the elephant's gait, it drew giggles from nearby children who began to warm up to this new arrival. "Look at her ears. They're like sails. And her trunk is so long," exclaimed another child named Leo, marveling at every little detail of the magnificent animal before him. His innocent wonder seemed contagious as it broke down barriers built by fear and doubt. It was not long before Clara found herself captivated despite her earlier concerns. She unwound her arms slowly and began to approach alongside others who now dared to stand within an arm's reach of this creature who had unexpectedly entered their lives. A shared collective breath rippled through those gathered as they finally recognized that perhaps this meeting was meant to unite them rather than instill fear. As different villagers exchanged glances filled with awe, a mix of disbelief and excitement, the air transformed from one heavy with concern into lightened spirits filled with anticipation for what might come next. There was something enchanting about witnessing the beauty of such a majestic being up close. An elderly woman named Abuela Rosa couldn't hold back any longer. She stepped forward and extended both hands toward the elephant's trunk as it waved in greeting, mirroring its invitation to connect further. With all eyes watching closely now, including Clara's, Abuela Rosa made contact with the gentle giant right there under starlit skies. The very earth feeling alive around them, as if nature itself celebrated this extraordinary encounter. With each passing moment together under that glowing moonlight, Nothing felt ordinary anymore. Bonds were forming between villagers previously divided by doubts or fears. A realization washed over everyone present that night. Though they might have started as strangers living separate lives behind closed doors, they were now united by a singular experience fueled by compassion and wonder. As whispers turned into laughter and light-hearted conversations blossomed all around them, that once fearful gathering became a circle of warmth, embracing possibilities which lay ahead. The villagers would soon discover that this seemingly simple midnight visit would weave its way into their hearts forever, more than any ordinary story ever could. As the villagers gathered closer, the elephant remained composed, her demeanor exuding a calmness that seemed to soothe their lingering fears. With each gentle sway of her massive body, she took a few deliberate steps forward, her large ears flapping softly in the cool night air. Her presence felt almost serene as she moved with an elegance that belied her size, becoming a source of comfort rather than chaos. The villagers held their breath as they watched her approach. Her dark eyes sparkled with an intelligence and warmth that drew them in. Unlike the wild animals they had heard about in tales, she displayed no signs of aggression, no trumpets of anger or stomps of distress. Instead, she walked slowly and deliberately, almost as if she were dancing to an unplayed melody from the night itself. As she neared the circle of villagers, her trunk extended gracefully toward them, curling slightly as if to greet each person individually. The children gasped in delight, and some shuffled forward, emboldened by her gentle approach. Little Sophia, still at the forefront, reached out a tentative hand towards the elephant's trunk. Their fingers met like a whisper, and a tender bond formed in that fleeting moment. A connection over the shared thrill of this extraordinary encounter. The elephant seemed to understand their trepidation and responded in kind. She lowered her head and gave a soft, rumbling sound, almost like a purr, inviting them to come closer. The sound vibrated through the night air, wrapping around the villagers like a warm blanket. It was as if she was saying, "I come in peace. I mean you no harm." The reassurance in her voice seemed to melt away any residual fear still clinging to those who surrounded her. Mr. Gonzalez observed closely, a knowing smile spreading across his face as he recalled the stories of wise elephants. "You see?" he called out to his neighbors, his voice rich with excitement. "She is showing us her heart." The villagers nodded in agreement. They felt it too. The warmth radiating from this majestic creature who had wandered so far to find them. As the elephant continued to engage with the villagers, she extended her trunk once more, playfully tapping the shoulder of one young boy named Leo. He laughed joyfully, startled yet enchanted by her touch. It was a moment of pure magic that created ripples of laughter among the children who watched with wide eyes. The elephant took another step forward and turned slightly, allowing everyone to catch a glimpse of her magnificent form. Her thick legs sturdy and strong, and her ears that flapped gently as if flirting with the breeze. She surveyed the crowd as though inviting everyone to join her in this newfound connection. Abuela Rosa stepped forward cautiously, but with determination in her heart. She reached out both arms toward the elephant and made soft, clicking sounds, mimicking the noises she had heard elephants make in nature documentaries. To her amazement, the elephant responded by tilting her head and letting out another soft trumpet, seemingly intrigued by Abuela Rosa's attempt at communication. With each passing second beneath the soft moonlight, the villagers began to feel a kinship with this majestic being. Their laughter and whispers blended into one harmonious sound as they shared their own stories about animals and nature. Stories that echoed through generations, now brought to life by this beautiful interruption. Children began to mimic the way the elephant moved, swaying their arms and imitating her gentle gait. The elephant stood calmly, allowing the children to explore their imaginative play while keeping a watchful eye on them. She appeared to understand their innocence and responded by playfully swinging her trunk in rhythm with them. The atmosphere turned jubilant as fear transformed into joy. Even Clara, who had eyed the elephant skeptically from the back of the crowd, found herself smiling as she observed this interaction unfold. The walls around her heart began to crumble as compassion took root within her. It became clear that this night was not just about witnessing an elephant, but about forging bonds among themselves, between villagers and this magnificent creature who had come seeking solace in their presence. Underneath those starlit skies filled with wonder, each moment solidified their understanding that they were not just individuals living separate lives, but rather a community united in awe of nature's beauty. As they continued to engage with the gentle elephant, the villagers realized they had been offered a rare gift, an opportunity for connection that not only changed how they viewed this majestic creature, but also how they viewed each other. Amid laughter and friendship blossoming like flowers beneath moonlight, the night deepened with promise. A promise that would linger long after she had left their village gate. As laughter and joy filled the air, the villagers noticed that the elephant, despite her friendly demeanor, appeared restless. She shifted her weight from foot to foot and occasionally glanced toward the dark forest looming at the edge of the village. An air of urgency began to replace the light-heartedness that had blossomed moments before. Abuela Rosa, still standing close to the elephant, observed her behavior closely. "She seems worried about something," she murmured, sharing her thoughts with those nearby. The villagers exchanged glances, their smiles fading slightly as they began to sense a deeper purpose behind the elephant's visit. "Is she hurt? Does she need something?" Sophia asked innocently, her eyes wide with concern for this magnificent creature who had already captured their hearts. Mr. Gonzalez stepped forward again, his expression shifting from excitement to contemplation. "Perhaps she has come to ask for our help," he suggested thoughtfully. "Animals have their own ways of communicating. Maybe she knows something we don't." His words planted a seed of curiosity in the minds of the villagers as they contemplated what the elephant might be trying to convey. The elephant let out a soft rumbling sound, a mix between a growl and a gentle sigh, as if trying to express her anxiety. Her trunk reached out again, touching the ground gently and then pointing toward the forest. It was a clear gesture that made everyone's hearts race with questions. What lay beyond those trees? Why had she ventured so far? Clara, who had been observing quietly from behind, stepped forward now. What if there's trouble in the forest? What if her family or friends are in danger? Her voice was filled with a new sense of urgency that echoed through the crowd. The villagers nodded as they considered Clara's words. The thought of another creature in need sparked a sense of responsibility within them. Leo spoke up, his voice trembling with excitement and worry. "We should help her. We can't let anyone or anything suffer if we can do something about it." His determination rang clear, inspiring others to feel brave enough to act. The atmosphere shifted as the villagers began discussing among themselves what steps they could take. Abuela Rosa proposed forming a small group to enter the forest together, while others shared ideas about gathering supplies or bringing tools they might need to help whatever situation awaited them beyond their village walls. "I'll go," Tomas declared, his earlier reservations dissipating as he felt the pull of camaraderie growing stronger. "If there's something out there that needs us, we can't just sit here." Encouraged by his words, more villagers volunteered to join him on this unexpected adventure. As they prepared in earnest, some began gathering lanterns and ropes, while others whispered reassurances to each other. The elephant watched attentively, seeming to understand their intentions and feeling grateful for their willingness to help. Her trunk swayed gently back and forth like a gentle breeze as she shared in their determination. With every small shuffle she made closer to the edge of the village, her body language radiated hope and gratitude, energizing everyone around her. Underneath the starlit sky filled with possibilities, the group began moving cautiously towards the darkened woods, where shadows danced among the trees. The villagers clung together, emboldened by their desire to assist not only one majestic creature, but also whatever plight lay hidden in that unknown darkness ahead. Just as they reached the first line of trees, Leo turned back one last time to look at the elephant. He felt an unspoken connection. The elephant had come seeking help, and now they were united in purpose. It was no longer just about curiosity or wonder. It was about compassion and strength as a community coming together for a greater cause. As they ventured deeper into the forest, whispers of anticipation filled their hearts with courage, while casting aside any lingering fears. The night held an electric charge, promising discovery and adventure. Each villager now leaving behind everything familiar, not only to follow where this elephant led, but also to find out what challenges lay ahead. They may have started as strangers united by chance, but they were now partners on a journey driven by their shared compassion for all living beings. As the group of villagers moved cautiously into the dark forest, a warm breeze rustled the leaves above them. Yet an unsettling silence enveloped the trees. The excitement they felt moments before began to shift into a sense of urgency. Each step seemed to echo their newfound determination as they ventured deeper into the shadows. Driven by curiosity about what trouble had brought the elephant to their village. The elephant walked ahead, her massive form a comforting presence in the dim light provided by their flickering lanterns. She occasionally turned her head back to ensure the villagers were following, her dark eyes reflecting a mixture of hope and apprehension. It was clear that she knew exactly where to go, leading them along a narrow path lined with tall trees that towered like sentinels. As they journeyed forward, the smell of smoke began to fill the air, harsh and acrid. The villagers exchanged worried glances. It became evident that something troubling lay ahead. "What is that smell?" Sophia asked, scrunching her nose at the unpleasant odor wafting through the foliage. "It's smoke," Mr. Gonzalez replied solemnly. "Something might be burning." His words hung heavy in the air and sent shivers down their spines as they quickened their pace, spurred on by concern for both the elephant and any other creatures that could be in danger. Finally, they emerged from the trees onto a small clearing where an alarming sight unfolded before them. Flames leaped fiercely among dry underbrush, crackling loudly as it consumed everything in its path. The fire flickered ominously under the night sky, casting eerie shadows around them. "Oh no," Clara gasped as she covered her mouth with her hands. "This is terrible." The sight of destruction shocked every villager into action. They could see that not only was this fire threatening their beloved forest, but also potentially harming wildlife and even reaching dangerously close to their village if it continued to spread unchecked. The realization hit them hard. This was why the elephant had come. With a swift gesture from the elephant's trunk pointing toward another part of the clearing, she seemed to urge them forward. They followed her guidance and discovered several frightened animals. A family of deer huddled close together, their eyes wide with fear. Birds flapping wildly overhead in search of safety, and even small rabbits darting nervously amid the rising smoke. "This is why she sought us," Leo murmured softly, understanding dawning in his young mind. She knew we could help. Then we need to act fast, Tomas exclaimed, jumping into action as he rallied everyone together. We can't let this fire destroy our home or harm these animals. Abuela Rosa took charge of gathering those who were willing to work quickly. We'll need water. There's a stream nearby, she shouted, inspiring others to join her in fetching whatever they could find, buckets, containers, anything they could fill to help douse the flames. Some villagers set to work creating makeshift tools from fallen branches, while others began digging trenches in hopes of containing the blaze. The elephant watched from a short distance with alert eyes, as if assessing how best she could contribute alongside them. Feeling empowered by their shared purpose, Clara and Sophia led a group towards the stream in earnest, while Leo returned to check on Mr. Gonzalez and Tomas, who were coordinating efforts closer to where most flames danced dangerously high, among dry grass and bushes. As water flew through hands and buckets made their way back and forth from stream to flame-strewn ground. The villagers soon formed an impromptu assembly line, fueled by determination and teamwork. With each splash that hit parched earth came renewed hope against nature's fury growing wild before them. The elephant stood steadfastly nearby. She wasn't just an observer anymore, but now also part of this fierce determination taking shape among villagers she'd united so unexpectedly that night. An unbreakable bond forged through compassion for one another and respect for all living beings affected by this raging fire. Together, they fought against despair with laughter echoing. Between tasks, celebrating each small victory over flames while sharing stories about their past experiences with nature's challenges. As time passed amid sweat-soaked brows under starlit skies filled with purpose, they showed what power lay within unity, fueled by love for life itself. Underneath those towering trees, marking boundaries between fear and courage, a community once divided learned profound lessons about strength derived from empathy. Not just saving animals, but also redefining themselves through this moment shared forevermore. The night blazed not only with fire, but newfound connections shimmering brightly, like stars above watching over all, as they faced it together, head-on. With determination coursing through their veins, the villagers sprang into action, united by a shared sense of purpose ignited by the brave elephant who had led them here. As the flames flickered menacingly and smoke curled into the air like angry fingers reaching for the night sky, the villagers worked fast to create an organized chain of support. Abuela Rosa quickly took charge, her voice steady and clear amidst the chaos. "Gather water. We need to keep those flames from spreading," she shouted, inspiring men and women alike to find buckets and basins wherever they could. Tomas, who had initially been hesitant earlier in the night, moved forward with newfound resolve. He rallied others around him. "We can form a line from the stream to here. Let's pass water as fast as we can." The villagers wasted no time. They formed a human chain that flowed from the nearby stream to the edges of the roaring fire. Some collected water while others hurriedly dumped it onto areas where flames bared teeth toward their beloved trees and wildlife. Clara worked next to Leo, both of their spirits high despite the daunting task ahead. "Every drop counts," Clara exclaimed as she passed another bucket filled with water along the line. Sophia encouraged her fellow children, laughing as she said, "Look how much we can do together. We're like a team." The children excitedly joined in, carrying smaller containers filled with water while keeping spirits bright through playful cheers and encouragement. While they moved swiftly to contain the fire's reach, Leo's eyes darted around, searching for any frightened animals still in need of help among the chaos. "What about those deer?" he shouted over to Mr. Gonzalez, who was directing portions of water toward a particularly aggressive flare-up. "They look scared." Without hesitation, Mr. Gonzalez pointed toward some nearby brush that seemed safe enough for a quick rescue operation. The tension in the air was palpable as they worked tirelessly. With every splash of water that landed on burning foliage came shouts of triumph, a collective feeling of hope growing stronger with each small success against nature's fury. Clara clapped her hands in glee when one band of flames was finally extinguished. "We did it. Great job, everyone." As they continued dousing flames together, even Abuela Rosa took a moment amidst her commanding presence to express her gratitude for this newfound unity she witnessed blossoming among them all. Strangers moments ago were now partners facing this challenge head-on. In one swift motion, just as another wave of fire attempted to climb higher into nearby trees, the elephant stepped closer at Abuela Rosa's side. Her eyes reflecting determination of her own, despite her otherwise tranquil nature, shining through even amid such wearisome efforts, fighting fires alongside now familiar friends. Recognizing her intention, villagers paused momentarily, looking curiously towards their massive companion, who simply stood there undeterred. Calm yet poised in alignment with purpose, bound by empathy, which connected them all equally beneath starlit wilderness skies above. Was she here somehow, helping them amid troubles? Just then, through shared intuition, united among those against encroaching danger, the elephant suddenly let out a soft, trumpeting sound, followed by firm stomps signaling something. She began moving closer towards small woodland animals, frightened around them. Deer were pinned near patches ablaze, while rabbits scurried between rapidly fading shadows, seeking reprieve. Miraculously guided by another spark, deep within themselves, now radiating boldly through collaborative acts cast toward surrounding beasts, they knew they could help them too, if only blocking exits posed no further threat long enough. She radiated encouragement, pushing boundaries that brought light, illuminating paths once again restored where fear lingered but moments before. Mr. Gonzalez quickly found courage himself, responding instinctively. He called out firmly, urging everyone around him without hesitation. "Go save those dear creatures. We must protect every life tonight." Their hearts swelled with renewed empowerment. An unbreakable bond grew, shoring walls against despair while preserving hope amid raging fires encroaching outside direct reach. They became guardians, driven on by both love for their village community, entwined tightly across shared experiences, leading beyond mere survival into collaborative strength few could ever replicate otherwise. Underneath brightening skies, illuminating bravery, etched firmly through actions undertaken despite against odds dancing perilously about, it became certain this experience would change every villager forever. Their lives intertwined more with purpose than ever before, rekindled beneath brighter stars glowing overhead. United for precious life, thriving beyond tonight, fighting laws set forth greater than nature itself. With the fire crackling ominously in the background, the villagers quickly sprang into action, gathering supplies and creating a plan to combat the flames and rescue the frightened animals. Abuela Rosa took charge, her authoritative voice cutting through the chaos like a beacon of hope. "We need buckets, containers, anything that can hold water," she called out, her eyes scanning the crowd for volunteers. Thomas hurried to his small shed at the edge of his property, rummaging through old tools and forgotten items. He pulled out several sturdy buckets, calling to his wife Maria, who was gathering kitchen pots. "Maria, grab anything we can fill with water. We have to act fast." Meanwhile, Clara and Leo dashed toward the stream, their hearts racing with excitement and purpose. "We can fill these up quickly," Clara exclaimed as she pointed to her smaller container. Leo nodded enthusiastically, already splashing water into it as they worked together. The sound of rushing water filled their ears as they filled their containers. They returned to the clearing where villagers were forming a line. Leo positioned himself at the front of the line, while Clara passed containers back to those behind her. Keep it moving. We can do this, Leo encouraged, his youthful energy infectious. In another part of the clearing, Mr. Gonzalez began organizing groups of villagers based on their skills. "Those who can carry heavy loads gather here," he shouted. "We need strength to transport more water. The rest, let's focus on guiding animals to safety." This clear division of tasks helped everyone feel useful and appreciated within their team. With buckets clinking together and laughter bubbling amidst tension, everyone quickly settled into their roles. Sophia took charge of directing children away from dangerous areas where flames danced dangerously close, while also encouraging them to cheer on their hard-working parents and older siblings. "Come on, we're all in this together," she exclaimed, clapping her hands excitedly as she rallied them into a small group near safety. Even though the children were too small to carry heavy containers themselves, they found creative ways to contribute by passing along smaller branches or cheering for every successful splash against the flames. The elephant stood nearby, watching attentively as if sensing the hope rising among her newfound friends. With each container filled and carried away by determined hands, her calm presence seemed to radiate strength, reminding everyone that they had come together for a purpose greater than themselves. As the fire crackled louder and embers flew high into the night sky, a sense of urgency fueled every villager's actions. Abuela Rosa led her team in creating an organized system for transferring water from stream to fire. It became a dance of sorts as they moved fluidly with practiced coordination. "Pass it down. Keep going," she urged those in line, while others poured water onto hot spots threatening wildlife nearby. Mr. Gonzalez coordinated efforts alongside her. He made sure no one got too close to roaring flames while encouraging others protecting vulnerable animals pinned against brush near treacherous areas. Fearlessly, wading through smoke-filled air while showing courage themselves against nature's fury. As laughter blended with shouts of encouragement echoed around them, the villagers began forming bonds deeper than mere acquaintance. They shared stories about past challenges faced under skies similarly thickened by smoke, but overcame through unity found only in times like these. The strong scent of sweat mingled with warmth from camaraderie spread across faces glowing under moonlight, illuminating hopes rekindled between shared experiences beyond survival. It was about community flourishing amidst adversity, showcasing power thriving within collaboration, forged upon love for life itself, just when they thought they couldn't face any more challenges. An unexpected roar erupted from behind, leaving all heads turning simultaneously toward its source. Startled deer scattered across remaining patches, untouched by fire, seeking refuge like frightened shadows darting among trees. Panic surged momentarily through hearts. But then courageous spirits rose again. Those once strangers now stood shoulder to shoulder, ready to protect every life threatened tonight. Recognizing together that true strength emerged from compassion, binding them tightly as one family under starlit skies, aflame with possibility. "Let's go save those animals," Abuela Rosa urged again with renewed vigor, her voice ringing clearly above chaos surrounding them. Love for nature ignited fiercely within them. All united together, not only fighting fires, but reinforcing bonds built stronger than anything ever witnessed before. This would forever mark an unforgettable chapter, reshaping lives connected, deeply rooted forevermore beneath resilient stars shining brightly overhead. As the villagers continued to fight the flames, the intensity of the fire presented challenges that tested their courage and resolve. The heat was nearly suffocating, forcing them to shield their faces while trying to focus on their tasks. Each splash of water they threw felt like a drop in an ocean, as the fierce blaze roared louder, sending embers shooting into the night sky. "Stay steady, everyone. We can't let the flames win," Abuela Rosa shouted above the crackling fire, her voice filled with determination. Yet behind her words, fatigue was beginning to creep in. Sweat dripped from her brow, and she could feel the exhaustion taking hold. It seemed as if the night would never end. Thomas, who had become one of the strongest links in their chain, began to struggle. He hesitated as he lifted his bucket again, feeling the weight heavier than before. Not just from water, but from weariness that seeped deep into his bones. "I can't keep doing this," he muttered under his breath, glancing at the flames licking ever closer to the trees. Sophia noticed his hesitation and rushed over. "You can do it, Thomas. We're all counting on you," she said, her voice brightening as she offered a smile. "Look at how far we've come as a team. We're almost there, just a little more." Her encouragement sparked a flicker of determination within him, reminding him of their purpose and the lives at stake. Before long, Clara stumbled upon an obstacle of her own when a burning branch fell in front of her as she dashed back toward the waterline. Panic surged through her for a moment. Her heart raced as she realized that she'd have to find another path around it. She turned back toward Leo, who was filling yet another bucket. "Help!" she called out, pointing to the hot barrier blocking her way. Understanding her plight, Leo quickly dropped his bucket beside him and ran over. With a collective effort and determination, they worked together to clear away smaller embers and debris that had fallen on their makeshift path. "We can't let a little fire stop us." Leo laughed nervously, wiping his forehead with the back of his hand. Meanwhile, Mr. Gonzalez encountered a group of trapped rabbits nestled against a thick bush, frightened by the approaching flames. He felt a swell of sympathy for them, but also fear. They needed help, and fast. But battling with his instincts for self-preservation, he hesitated for a heartbeat. What if he got too close to the flames? In that moment of indecision, he heard the gentle trumpeting sound from the elephant who watched nearby. Her large eyes focused on him with an understanding that seemed to break through his fear. Remembering why they were there, to protect life, he gathered his strength and moved forward into the heat. "Come on, little ones. You'll be safe with me," he called softly as he scooped up 2 rabbits tenderly in his arms, ignoring the heat that washed over him. To his surprise, several other villagers joined him. Together, they nudged and directed more animals away from danger and toward safety. Their collective efforts began to show results as small pockets of flames began to extinguish under their relentless teamwork. A firecracker cheer erupted among them each time victory came their way. "We did it!" Clara shouted after another wave of flames was doused. But soon after celebrating their success, reality set back in when a gust of wind swept through the clearing and caused the fire to flare up once again, sending sparks spiraling into dry brush nearby. A sense of dread washed over them as they realized that their battle was far from over. "Back to action, everyone. We can't let this fire spread," Abuela Rosa called out firmly, fighting through her exhaustion. The villagers raced forward once more, retrieving buckets filled with water from various containers scattered about as they rushed back toward hot spots igniting anew. The night wore on, and every villager felt fatigue clawing at them while heavy limbs moved under unrelenting heat. But amidst it all gleamed a shared commitment, fueled not only by duty, but also compassion for each other and nature they cherished dearly. Thus, Elephant shifted slightly beside them. She exuded strength even in the chaos swirling around her fierce like windswept waves crashing against shores. The presence only further reiterated hope pulsing within hearts unified through love and resilience, pushing boundaries beyond perseverance alone. As they faced scorching temperatures and endless challenges, It became clear that true courage blossomed collectively. This village had transformed into something magnificent that united even amidst dire circumstances, bringing smiles against backdrops surrounding fiery night skies. They had started as individuals, but now stood together stronger than any flame, threatening their spirits through unwavering resolve, driven by kindness, bound tightly like stars, shimmering brightly above, watching over them all. As the embers of the fire began to fade and the first rays of sunlight broke through the smoky haze, a profound sense of relief washed over the villagers. They stood together in the clearing, their clothes tattered and faces smeared with soot, but their spirits were high. The once roaring flames that had threatened their home were now mere whispers of smoke curling into the sky, marking a victory they would never forget. Abuela Rosa gathered everyone around her, her heart swelling with pride. "We did it," she exclaimed, her voice ringing with joy. "Together, we fought against that fire and saved not just our village, but also the lives of many creatures." The villagers cheered in response, clapping each other on the back and exchanging hugs filled with gratitude and camaraderie. Tomas, who had felt overwhelmed just hours before, now wore a wide smile as he looked around at the faces of his neighbors. "I didn't think we could do it," he admitted humbly. "But seeing everyone come together made me realize how strong we truly are." His words resonated with those present. Each villager knew they had played a crucial part in this collective triumph. Clara jumped up excitedly, her eyes sparkling. "And we couldn't have done it without our friend," she said, pointing toward the elephant who stood nearby, observing them quietly. The villagers turned their attention to her, remembering how she had guided them through the dark forest and inspired them to act. "Thank you," Sophia shouted, waving her tiny arms enthusiastically. "You helped us save our home." The elephant lifted her trunk in acknowledgement and let out a soft trumpet that sounded like a joyful laugh echoing through the clearing. Feeling inspired by their newfound friendship with this gentle giant, Mr. Gonzalez approached her cautiously but confidently. "You showed us what true strength looks like," he said genuinely. "You led us here when we needed guidance most." He gently patted her side as if to reinforce his words. The villagers began to gather around the elephant, each taking turns expressing their gratitude. Leo stepped forward next, looking up at her with wide eyes. "I want to be brave like you when I grow up. You're amazing." His innocent admiration warmed everyone's hearts as laughter erupted from the group. Seeing how connected they all felt toward one another and towards this extraordinary creature gave Abuela Rosa an idea. "Let's hold a celebration," she proposed excitedly. "We can honor our victory and our new friend. We'll share stories and food together under the sun." Cheers erupted again as everyone began discussing what they could bring for the feast. Some suggested fruits from their gardens, while others offered baked goods or savory dishes they loved to prepare. Clara volunteered to help set up decorations, while Thomas suggested building a small area where they could safely make a bonfire for roasting marshmallows later on. As preparations took shape throughout the morning hours, each villager contributing a piece of themselves, the atmosphere shifted from one of exhaustion to pure joy. Laughter filled the air as memories were shared about their brave fight against nature's fury. Challenges encountered were transformed into tales of triumph that only strengthened their bonds further. The elephant watched patiently as children danced around her, playfully weaving between legs, while adults prepared food nearby, reminiscing about teamwork shown during trials faced together, as if nature itself smiled down upon them, celebrating this day. When everything was finally ready, a long table adorned with vibrant fruits, everyone gathered together under the sun-drenched sky. Its golden light embraced them warmly, reminding all who attended about hope, kindled anew amidst darkness, now turned brighter than ever before. Let us raise our voices high in song. Abuela Rosa proposed once more, clapping hands, cheerfully signaling joyous, echoing calls, joining voices harmoniously weaving through air, uniting hearts along bursts, laughter shared among friends, reinvigorating memories etched forever, highlighting journey traveled, transcending challenges faced past. And so they sang and celebrated beneath an expansive sky painted in strokes of gold, a village united not only by hardship endured, but also by love blossomed through acts, kindness forged connections, nurtured through adversity, witnessed together, alongside beloved companions standing tall amongst them. A reminder that sometimes unexpected arrivals bring forth gifts unseen beyond mere survival, but instead inspire endless possibilities, always awaiting discovery when united together. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over the village, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and newfound purpose. The celebration continued, but beneath the laughter and joy lay a profound realization. The villagers had formed an unbreakable bond with the elephant who had come to them in their time of need. Abuela Rosa stood at the center of the gathering, her heart swelling with gratitude as she looked around at her fellow villagers and their magnificent companion. Today, we honor not just our victory over the flames, but also our friendship with this incredible creature, she said, gesturing toward the elephant. She came to guide us when we were lost, and now it is our turn to protect her home. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Sophia was quick to echo Abuela Rosa's sentiment. "Let's promise to look after her," she exclaimed, raising her small fist into the air. "We'll make sure she has everything she needs." Inspired by her enthusiasm, Tomas stepped forward, his voice steady. "Yes, we will work together to protect both her and the forest she calls home. We've seen how important it is to safeguard our environment. Let's plant more trees and ensure that wildlife can thrive," Leo added eagerly. "And we should create paths for travelers who may get lost, just like she guided us through the dark forest." Ideas began to flow freely as villagers discussed ways they could enhance their stewardship of nature while ensuring that their new friend felt safe and welcomed. Mr. Gonzalez couldn't contain his excitement either. "We can build a special area near the edge of the village where visitors can come to see her, but still respect her space," he suggested thoughtfully. "It will be a place where people can learn about elephants and wildlife conservation." As plans unfolded around him, the elephant trumpeted softly again, seemingly in agreement with their ideas. Her calm demeanor radiated warmth and encouragement, reminding everyone of what they had achieved together. It was clear that this gentle giant had become a cherished member of their community. In the days that followed the celebration, the villagers set to work bringing their promises to life. They organized efforts to plant new trees throughout the forest while educating each other on sustainable practices that would help maintain its beauty and balance. Children learned about local wildlife and how they could play a role in preserving it. Clara took charge of crafting signs that would educate visitors about respecting animals' habitats while encouraging environmental awareness. The villagers gathered together regularly, not only for community projects, but also for social gatherings where they could share stories about their experiences with nature. One day, while working together near an open field on replanting saplings from native trees, Leo spotted something glimmering among the roots of an old tree. A forgotten stone tablet etched with ancient symbols representing harmony between nature and humanity. He rushed back to show it off proudly. "This must be a sign," Clara gasped as they examined it closely. "It's like nature reminding us why we should work together." The discovery sparked curiosity throughout town, Elders shared tales about how long ago villagers honored nature's gifts by forging bonds with creatures great and small. And so it became tradition. Every year on that same day, the anniversary of when they fought against fire, it turned into a celebration of friendship not only among themselves, but also with all living beings surrounding their village. Animals great or small alike, coexisting peacefully within nature, cherished, deeply rooted hearts. As seasons passed into years, families thrived harmoniously beneath vibrant trees, standing tall near homes, built alongside an ever-watchful companion. Each villager knew they had created something beautiful together. Not just protection for one brave elephant, but an enduring legacy, blossoming bright, far beyond expectations ever imagined. Underneath starlit skies, blanketing warmth, their resolve ignited from moments shared grew bright, weaving stories woven tightly across generations, growing stronger each time they came together. Reminded always, there lies power within compassion, forged through unity, sowing seeds deep into fertile ground, nurturing bonds lasting eternally found. Resilient as stars, twinkling long after darkness fades gently away, embracing dawn anew. As the villagers settled back into their daily lives after the celebration, they carried with them a wealth of lessons learned from their extraordinary experience. The arrival of the elephant had not only brought them together in a time of crisis, but it also instilled in them a deeper understanding of courage, community, and respect for nature. The villagers often found themselves reflecting on the bravery they had displayed during the fire. Each person had faced their own fears, whether it was Thomas overcoming his doubts about their ability to fight the flames, or Mr. Gonzalez stepping into danger to rescue frightened animals. Their courage was contagious. It inspired everyone to push past their limits and act in ways they never thought possible. Abuela Rosa often gathered the children around her as she recounted stories of that fateful night. Courage, she would say, is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. The children listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder as they absorbed her words. They realized that true bravery comes in many forms, whether it's rushing towards a fire or standing up for a friend who needs help. In addition to courage, the villagers discovered the importance of community. They had united as one to fight against a common threat, finding strength in collaboration and teamwork. The experience transformed their relationships. Neighbors who once only exchanged polite nods began sharing meals and stories together regularly. The bonds formed during those intense moments of hardship created friendships that would last a lifetime. Sophia, inspired by her experiences, decided to organize regular cleanup days in the village. If we take care of our home, we're taking care of all its inhabitants, she proclaimed to her friends as they gathered supplies for their first outing. The villagers joined her initiative wholeheartedly. Children picked up litter along pathways, while adults focused on maintaining gardens and planting new trees. They understood now that protecting their environment was essential, not just for themselves, but for all creatures great and small. The elephant's presence also sparked discussions about wildlife conservation and respect for nature. The villagers often shared stories about their relationship with the forest and its inhabitants during community gatherings, fostering an appreciation for the delicate balance between humans and wildlife. Clara took it upon herself to create educational materials, highlighting how everyone could contribute to preserving nature's beauty. A small yet impactful effort towards raising awareness. One sunny afternoon, while working together, planting saplings near the edge of the village, Leo discovered a small clearing where wildflowers bloomed vibrantly amidst tall grasses swaying in rhythm with the breeze. He pointed it out excitedly to his friends. "Look at this place. It's beautiful. We should make sure it stays safe so animals have somewhere to go." This idea resonated throughout the village. They decided to create designated areas where wildlife could thrive without fear of encroachment from human activity. They learned how critical it was to coexist harmoniously with nature rather than dominate it. A lesson imparted by their majestic friend who had come into their lives unexpectedly. As seasons passed, with each passing year marking anniversaries celebrated together, the bond between the villagers and the elephant deepened significantly. She became more than just a creature they rescued. She became part of their identity, a symbol of resilience and unity that sparked joy every time she appeared near the village. The villagers often echoed Abuela Rosa's words about protecting her home when sharing tales around evening bonfires beneath starry skies. They had learned invaluable lessons about courage, community spirit, and respect for nature that transcended generations long after those fateful events unfolded. Underneath an expansive sky painted with hues softening into twilight, these stories etched deeply within hearts aligned brightly akin to stars twinkling overhead. Their journey became not simply one defined by survival, but rather a vibrant tapestry woven from compassion driving empowerment through love. Nurturing roots, binding them eternally close together. And so life embraced them gently, their lives forever changed by one brave elephant whose gentle guidance led them down paths filled with endless possibilities ahead, promising new adventures, awaiting discovery beyond horizons yet unseen.